Hello and welcome to the Art of Kicking Ass Elegantly TV. I'm your host, Michelle Hext. Today I'm going to be talking to you about why it's important that you are you and nobody else in your business. And before we go to the other side, I just want to say I'm aware of the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt and this is the third week in a row that you're seeing this, but I'm bulk shooting amongst videos and I decided not to do costume changes because you kind of know that's what I'm doing anyway. So I'm sticking with this shirt, which is one of my favorites. Whenever I wear it out, it always gets lovely compliments and I love it and it makes me feel good. So I'm wearing it and you'll see it for the next few videos. Anyway, stick with me on the other side and we're going to be talking about that really important topic, which is, really embracing you and being you in your brand. So we all want to aspire to be better, right? We all want to be up-leveling as often as we can, as often as we can in our business and also ourselves personally. But what we don't want to do is try and be somebody else, because what happens is it reeks of desperation for a start, and also people can smell inauthenticity a mile away, and we don't want that. What we don't want to be doing is talking about we when our business is an I. We don't want to be talking about, creating or generating this image that isn't really who we are. And I know sometimes it's a fine line and we want to, not so much fake it till we make it, but we want to really, set ourselves up just like, we know about the law of attraction, and we know that we want to really live like it's already happened. And I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about putting up a false front and trying to be somebody that you aren't. And I'll tell you why people do that. Often women do that because A, they don't feel good enough. That's usually the main reason. And B, because they don't really like who they are. And that's a really sad thing. So what I would encourage you to do, if you're one of those people who feel like they have to kind of put on a coat of armor or put on a face when they go out and represent their brand, then it's time to really take a reality check and do the work and try to uncover, why do I feel the need to do this? What are the parts that I'm unhappy with? Pull it apart, make sure that you fully understand why you're doing this, and why it is that you're not comfortable showing all of you, and I'm not talking about nudies, but showing all of you to your market. I'm pretty open and I'm pretty transparent. What you see is what you get. You'll have the same conversation with me, any day of the week. It doesn't matter whether I run into you at the gym or whether it's at a networking event or whether you've paid me or whether you haven't paid me. You're going to meet the same person every time. I am me. My brand is built around me, my quirks, my strengths, and all that stuff. There's also vulnerability. I've shared many stories about my failures and, life and all that sort of stuff. And I'm vulnerable and I'm open. And what I found was, I used to like to distance myself from my brand, and I was doing those things. I didn't realize I was pretending to be somebody that I wasn't, but I think it was more about, this is where I'm going and this is where I'm headed and this is the type of person that I need to be and this is what I need to do. And it was all very forced, I guess, is the thing. And when I was creating the Art of Kicking Ass Elegantly, I really gave myself permission to own all of me and the warts and all. And what that helped me to do was to dissolve the shame of not being good enough, not liking certain elements of myself, all that sort of stuff. And I really shone a light on those dark spaces that had me feeling like I wasn't good enough. I shined a torch on them and I went, well, why? What is it about this that makes me feel like shit? What is it about this that makes me feel like I'm not good enough? And I pulled it apart and, with light flooded on it, it doesn't look so bad and you deal with it. Things seem so much worse when we're shoving them aside, when we're trying to ignore them. When we shine a light on them and we really give them the focus and we deal with them, then we can put them to bed and move on. one of the things that I wrote about in my book, in this, in my latest book, was my bankruptcy. And what it dawned on me when I was writing the book, and I, do I want to write about that? Don't I want to write about that? And I thought, what, you've written about childhood sexual abuse, domestic violence, everything else. What the hell is the issue with this? And it was the shame attached to being a failed businesswoman. And so I decided, I share everything else. I'm just going to share it. And then as I did that, what I came to realize was that I'd been resisting success for so long, or the level of success that I have now, because I didn't want that to be exposed. But I shone the light on it. I made it a focus. I dealt with it. And then it's now a non-issue. I can't believe it was ever an issue, And so we all have stuff like that in our lives. It might have been, the way we handled a divorce, or a, child custody, or it might have been, the way that our business failed, or it might be, the way that we look currently. It might be, the fact that we're in debt, or it could be any damn thing. But if you try to hide it, or if you try to brush over it and, force yourself to be someone else, or force yourself to try to, take on a different persona that takes work and doesn't feel authentic, it's no good. So it's time to really do that work. So where am I going with this? You need to be you, because people, their radar is up. People tell me very, very often that one of the reasons they're drawn to me is because of my honesty and my transparency. And, I don't really know how to do it any other way. And I think that's why I struggled so much with hiding my bankruptcy. It was years ago. It was 2001 or something like that. So it was many years ago. I've learned so much between then and now. And I kind of see it as a rite of passage. Many millionaires have gone bankrupt at some point. So I was like, I can tick that box and that's fine. I don't really take it lightly. It was a very stressful time, and for many, many years, as I say, there was a lot of shame attached to it, but it held me back. So if there are things about you that you don't like, things about you that you may have done or been a part of that you're ashamed of, deal with them, and then work out, when you're looking at your brand and you're thinking about the things you say and the content that you're writing and the conversations that you're having and the things that you're creating, do they feel authentic? Do they feel real? Do they feel like they're an extension of you? Or do they feel like there's something that you're hiding behind? Because I tell you, if you are doing that, it's inauthentic and people smell it a mile off and they will run. And it's not about, this, they think anything. It's just there's this underlying sense of, not really trusting perhaps, or not really, I don't know, there's just bad juju. We'll put it down to that. So yeah, if you need to do the work, do the work. Put that stuff to bed and really step forward into where you're going and embrace all of who you are. Let go of the shame and the guilt and all that sort of stuff, and elbow out of the way any fakeness that you've brought into your business to cover that stuff up, because you don't need it. When you're really open and you're honest and everything's authentic, you don't need that crap. So anyway, good luck with that. If you feel like you need support around that, message me. I'm not far away, and I will always get back to you. Anyway, have a great week. Be sure to join me on my Facebook group. If you head to my website, theartofkicking.com, I think it's /community, you can get into my private Facebook group, and it's really cranking and we're having a good time in there. So I'd love you to be a part of that. And always, I would love you to share my stuff if you think other people would benefit from it. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.